Hey there everyone, welcome back to another episode of Platinum Achievements. As always, I am Ray. Today's date at the time of recording is May 11th, 2024. And oh boy, howdy, it's been a week for Xbox. Let me tell you, sometimes it is not easy being a fan of this platform. And it feels like that most recently. But before I'm already leading into what the news is. You know what the news is. I think I talked about it last week. Xbox closed down 4 of their studios, or realistically 3 of their studios, and merged another into another. And it's been a disheartening week. I don't even know how to really explain it. Not that I trust Xbox as a company. You should never trust any of these companies. Like, look at Sony. They just closed down a bunch of studios a few months ago and have just basically completely abandoned the PSVR 2. And I understand Xbox is in a difficult position with their recent acquisitions and the fact that they have Microsoft, their business daddy, just like looming over them. And I mean, a $69 billion acquisition is not going to go unnoticed. They have some hard choices ahead of them, and it looks like they've already started making those hard choices. But before we dive into all of that, let's go over the trophies and achievements, our current tally, if you will. Let's start with the Xbox side, because I really haven't played all that much on Xbox this past week, mostly been on the PS5. And gamer score currently sitting at 696,435. That is probably, looking at the list, yeah, I only got one achievement this week. It was actually in Crackdown 2. I was able to wrangle up a buddy, and we got the, technically we got the Online Orb achievement, but I already had the Online Orb achievement. But since I had to restart the game, I had to redo it, and in doing so, I got the achievement for collecting every orb in the game. Thank God. Some of those orbs are ridiculous. I don't like the driving in that game. So more to come on Crackdown at some point. That buddy actually reached out to the Discord we're in, and we're trying to wrangle up. I think we already got a third. We're trying to wrangle up a fourth if that third person's friend doesn't want to do it. So that's basically all I did on the Xbox side. Now, PlayStation, this is where the action was this week. Currently sitting at 104 platinums, 697 golds, 924 silvers, 2206 bronzes. That is, let's see, let's look at the sheet. I think I got a couple trophies in Death Squared. I got a couple trophies in Letter Quest Remastered. That's like my go-to game with Sammy now on the PlayStation. That's what I've been basically playing with him, because he thinks it's cute. And it's a cute game, and it's got letters, and it's got words, and learning, kind of. Then I picked up and started trying Twin Breakers, A Sacred Symbols Adventure. It's a game made by Colin and his team over at, I don't remember the developers, but the group behind it is Sacred Symbols. And if you don't know, he was one of the founders of Kind of Funny, and then he left for reasons, one of which being, the internet kind of taking a dumb joke way too seriously. It's ridiculous. The amount of backlash he got because of that. Like, it was a dumb joke. There's way worse jokes that are even said on Kind of Funny now, I think. So, whatever. I don't want to get into that. I still support both of them. But the main trophy gains, sorry if my voice keeps cutting in and out. I'm down in the living room, and I'm currently watching my basically auto-playing of Gears of War 3. I'm just trying to cycle through some matches. Just multitasking, as best I can. But yeah, the majority of my trophy gains were in Detroit Become Human. Man, that game is a lot of fun. I didn't expect it to be that kind of game, and I don't know why. And it makes me excited to play the other games from that studio. I don't know the name of the studio off the top of my head. Let me actually look it up real quick. Okay, so the studio is Quantic Dreams. They've done Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Star Wars Eclipse. Was that canceled? That might have been canceled. Maybe. Let's see. Is it still in development? Looks like it might still be a thing. That'd be cool. A Star Wars game with this gameplay style? Oh, that'd be awesome. But anyway, yeah, I own Beyond Two Souls. I have Heavy Rain as well. I think they might have gave both of them away with Game Pass. What did I just buy then? Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain. I just bought another game that I thought was theirs. But maybe it's not? I'm gonna have to do some research into that. Let's see. Oh, I bought Indigo Prophecy. Or it might be called Fahrenheit, depending where you live. Oh. Also Quantic Dream. So Google's just lazy. Or maybe did I not click? I'm getting to the bottom of this, guys, don't worry. No, so if you search up Quantic Dream, it only shows Detroit, Star Wars Eclipse, Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls. But then if you go and you look at it, it shows more games? Or maybe that's just the people also searched? I don't know. Okay, so Quantic Dream has done more than just that. But yes, I did pick up Indigo Prophecy a while ago. My voice is cracking. Give me a sec. Let me get some tea. Where'd my tea go? I left my tea like all the way on the other side of the room. So anyway, Detroit Become Human. That's the gameplay footage you're seeing on... Or no, that was last week's gameplay footage. And I really am liking this game a lot. Detroit Become Human. It's kind of sort of... I mean, if you played the Walking Dead games, it's a little more involved than those. There's much more quick-time events and actually maneuvering the sticks and investigations and things like that. It feels a lot more involved than like a Walking Dead or the Telltale games. Telltale games are a more accessible version, for sure. But I'm really enjoying the game. The story is kind of like it's a different take on iRobot, kind of. Like there's some similarities there with androids gaining sentience. My only real issue with the game, I would say, is towards the end. It seems like they abandoned some of the in-world rules that they kind of set up to just create more impactful moments. Like, there's a slight spoiler, but not really. You play as a character called Marcus. He's one of the androids. He's kind of one rallying the androids to revolt or to protest, depending how you're playing the game. And it's been shown, like, throughout the game that in order to convert one of the androids, you kind of have to... Either they have to, on their own, be pressured. Sorry, looking the other way. What map is this? They have to be pressured into a situation where they kind of snap out on their own. Or an android that's already broken free, I guess, has to touch them and kind of like manually convert them. You get to a point where you're marching down the street and you're just converting bots like all over the place. And I get what they were doing, but it felt a little less impactful. I'm kind of a huge stickler for when games, movies, TV shows, all those things kind of break the rules that they establish, because at that point, like, anything can happen and there's no real rules, so there's no stakes, I guess. Looking at you, Endgame, with your old man Captain America. But anyway, I digress. I am currently showing you gameplay for the game Aragami. I think it's with the Shadow Edition. Did I recommend this game at some point? I did. I recommended this game a while ago. Back in March? But yes, Aragami. I absolutely love this game as well. It's a very... how to phrase this? It's a more or less a puzzle game than a combat game. Like, if you get into combat in this game, you're dead in a hit. Like, it's not going to work out for you real well. There's sometimes where you can maneuver it and be in combat and it kind of works, but your main goal is to either stick to the shadows and not alert anybody, or you'll want to literally kill everyone on the map, or, just kill people that are in your way. There's some skills that you get that you're probably seeing on screen right now. I don't remember exactly what the recording shows. However, I do know I did some recording out of order, but I would quantify it as a puzzle stealth game. Very fun, super enjoyable. There's a second one that I really haven't given a fair shake to. I think I'll at some point go back to it. I think it's on Game Pass still. But I'm not opposed to buying an Aragami 2. The game does have co-op. There's a DLC. And the second one, I think, really leans into co-op. So I'm a little nervous about that because I expect the maps will be bigger. Some of these maps in Aragami, they get pretty big on their own. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Visuals are unique. They're not the greatest thing you'll ever see, but they hold up very well. It's a very stylized game. There's a cool ability where you sneak up on someone and you summon a dragon, and he like devours their soul and basically evaporates them, so there's no body left behind for someone to find. And then you get like one of your abilities back. There's a skill tree. It's a very well thought out, well crafted game. Very enjoyable. Highly recommend if you haven't already checked it out. Let's see, was there anything else I wanted to talk about before we jump into the less than stellar Xbox news? Don't think so. The main topic, of course, is Xbox closing multiple Bethesda studios. I will have links for all the articles that I'm talking about, or might reference but not specifically call out down in the description below, so definitely check those out. The authors are Sean Carey for the main article, and it looks like most of my side articles are Tom West, again, all at trueachievements.com. If you're into achievements and you're not already checking it out, check out True Achievements. It's a great site, great data. I absolutely love it. On the PlayStation side, you might want to do like a PSN profiles. I don't feel like the PSN side of True Achievements, which I guess is True Trophies, it's not as robust, I would say. Probably the same amount of data, just the community doesn't seem as robust. So let's dive into it. Xbox is closing multiple Bethesda studios. You've probably already heard about it by now, but I feel like it would be a disservice to myself, the few listeners we have. I appreciate all you guys, by the way. Thanks for listening. But it would be a disservice if I did not talk about this piece of news, which honestly, like, literally happened as I was editing last week's episode. The article goes as follows. After acquiring Bethesda back in 2021 for a whopping $7.5 billion, I forgot they acquired them for that much, Microsoft announced it's shutting down 4 Bethesda studios: Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog Games, and Roadhouse Studios. This, also comes after the layoffs we had earlier in the year with Microsoft as a result of the Activision Blizzard King deal. But that was more, I think it's been kind of discussed at this point that those layoffs were redundancies kind of created by ABK overstaffing, like after they kind of knew they were going to get acquired, they like overstaffed for some reason. I mean, all of these studios have, that's why we have so many layoffs recently, but they overstaffed, and then it was just so many redundancies at this point when it came over to Microsoft. It was definitely inevitable. I don't want this to seem like I'm defending Microsoft in any way. Like, they're doing some not so good things, and it sucks when anyone loses their job, but it's not just an Xbox issue. This is an industry-wide issue. Sony's done the same thing a few months ago, and it's going to really hurt talent and the games coming out, and it's going to hurt Xbox for a while. I wouldn't say I have faith in Xbox overall. I have faith not even so much in the leadership anymore. I think either they need to change or they really need to. Their main problem is they don't have great marketing and messaging, and they really need that in order to kind of preface these types of things, because they're doing a terrible job at it right now. And then you got Sony in the corner, just licking their wounds from the last couple weeks and just letting Xbox shine. So let's see. So yeah, they're closing these studios down for not really revealed reasons. There's speculation as to what's going on. I'll throw in a little speculatory information that I feel, but let's just go down the list. They have a memo here. It's a good article. It actually includes the memo. Oh, I just got executed in Gears. Jeez. I'm gonna just skip to each of the studios. These are the ones that are affected. Arcane Austin will close with some members of the team joining other studios to work on other projects across Bethesda. the history of impactful games. Redfall was their most recent game. It did not do well at all, as we know, and I think that's the biggest culprit of them being targeted for these closures. Redfall did not do well. It was a disaster at launch, and Microsoft admitted that they, or I guess Xbox, Microsoft, they're kind of interchangeable for the sake of these topics, but they didn't have enough oversight. They kind of let them do their own thing, and it kind of bit them in the butt. So they're going to live and learn from this, and I don't know if they're, learning the right lessons, but it's not entirely surprising that Arcane's getting canned after so many years of working on this game, and it comes out and it's just a dud. Which kind of sucks because they made Prey, and I really enjoyed Prey from the little I played of it. I plan to go back and complete it. Do I own that physically? I might own that game physically, or maybe I got rid of it and bought a digital version. I don't know. But they had Typhon Hunter, which was a cool standalone prop hunt type of game. That was a blast to play with my buddy Christian. I have the DLC for the game, the Moon Crash, which is supposed to be really, really sizable. My only real issue with Prey, and I have this issue with a lot of game studios, is stop making games where you force me to play a certain play style for achievements and trophies, let's say. They don't force you to, but if you want to go for the completion, for example, in Arcane Austin's Prey, you have to basically evolve one skill tree and not another skill tree. You have two types of trees. I won't spoil what those actually are for such an old game, but you have to only invest in one skill tree or only invest in the other, and then you have to do another playthrough where you do the other one. I don't like that. Don't do that. Don't waste my time. Please. But yeah, Arcane Austin, to summarize, some of the teams are going to other areas. Most of the team is not, and that sucks. They were actually pretty close to putting out a DLC that would have, quote-unquote, future-proofed the game by making Redfall a single-player experience. You don't have to be online. With it having to be online, I think Xbox will still keep it as just a member of Game Pass, but that worries me about that game. I was kind of interested in playing it. I'm not opposed to playing quote-unquote bad games. There's some games where I feel like playing, and I'll just throw on a podcast, and I'll just tune out, and just slowly chip it away to a game that requires a little bit of grind, maybe. It's kind of what I'm looking to do with Anthem when I decide to hop back on Anthem. I don't remember if I told you guys last week, but I caved. I got PS Plus again because I'm a child and I have no self-control. But I really didn't want to pay the $80, but there were a bunch of games on Plus that I wanted to get to and I just didn't have the time. So, Detroit Become Human was one of them. Let's do a check on Sammy. Kid's passed out. He got up at 5 o'clock this morning, and I was shocked. I went and laid in the bedroom with him, and he kind of went right back out. We're kind of like sleepover buddies now. It's cool, but it's frustrating when it's at 3 in the morning, and Amanda goes in to try to soothe him, and then she comes in 10 minutes later, and she's like, he just keeps saying, Dada. So then I go in, and we put a little mat out, and I lay on it with some pillows and a blanket, and then we just kind of, we hang out. I tell him a story. I think I told him the story of, I watched a movie yesterday. A-Team, the movie with Liam Neeson, Bradley Cooper, Charlotte Copley, and Rampage Jackson. Very fun mid-2000s movie. Very fun. I enjoy that movie a lot. Did I say it was fun? Because it was a fun movie to watch. All right, next up on the memo. Alpha Dogs Studio. Studio will close. They did Mighty Doom. Let me see if they've actually done anything else. They made the Mighty Doom. They're a mobile studio. Okay. Mighty Doom, Ninja Golf, Metro City, or Monstro City Rampage, Wraithborn. Just a lot of mobile games. And I don't know, I feel like Microsoft is moving away from mobile only games. I feel like a fair amount of these big publishers are. But Microsoft is specifically, since it seems like they're trying to get their potentially handheld going. Maybe that's a rumor. But another story kind of ties to this later. but they're doing a what is it? Their xCloud, where you can already play like Xbox games and other games on Game Pass through your mobile device, and they want to extend that to at some point all of the games you've purchased, which will be really cool. There's the rumor of the Xbox handheld, so it kind of makes sense that Alpha Dog's going away. It sucks, but I kind of understand it. Okay, we'll save the big one for last. Roundhouse Games will be joining. This is the one that's getting folded in. They're going to be joining ZeniMax Online Studios to help work on Elder Scrolls Online and whatever other projects they're working on there. At least they're not getting, closed. I mean, they're kind of getting closed, but they're being absorbed into another studio. Let me look up what Roundhouse Games has done. Roundhouse Games. Is it Roundhouse or Roadhouse? Roundhouse Games. Okay. Roundhouse Interactive Moby Games. This is like, because then it's telling me Roadhouse Games. There's a Roadhouse Games. Have we built? What is this studio? This is just. This is weird. I can't find. I'm gonna. Oh, I typed a Roundhouse. Roundhouse Games. Roundhouse Studios was a game studio based in corporate continuation. Human Head. This might be it. Okay, yeah. Continuation of Human Head Studios. Studio closed down immediately following the release of Rune 2. Had the same staff. Was based. They're a support studio. It looks like, at least at the time of closing, that helped support. Oh, that explains it. Redfall. I mean, that sucks that they got. Wait, no, they got merged. This is the merged one. Okay, so it's good. They're a support studio. At least they're not getting destroyed, quote unquote. But yeah, that kind of sucks, I suppose. I'm glad they seem to be keeping their jobs. Yeah, the team there. Yep. Okay. Now the tragic one. Tango Gameworks. They're closing. It makes sense maybe, but doesn't make sense at the same time. Again, the marketing of Xbox has been terrible. And they say that Hi-Fi Rush was a success for them, but then it didn't meet some metrics maybe. We don't know exactly what those metrics are. We were told they met metrics very well. And it was just getting released on other platforms too, so it would have made more money, and it's going to make more money. But it doesn't make sense. I know Hi-Fi Rush was a side project, so I don't think they had a main project they've been working on in a while. Tango Gameworks. I want to make sure I know what they've made before. Ghostwire Tokyo, The Evils Within. Oh wow, they actually haven't made as much as I thought. Okay. So they did The Evils Within, or The Evil Within 1 and 2. Ghostwire Tokyo, a game called Hero Dice for mobile, and yeah, then Hi-Fi Rush. So yeah, I'd read that this Hi-Fi Rush wasn't their main game that they were focused on. Like, it was kind of a passion project side project type of deal. Which, oddly enough, let me go to... I don't think I have this article pulled out, but some of the higher-ups at Xbox were saying that they need to work on more passion projects. I know Sarah Bond just did an interview recently that didn't exactly paint the team in the best light either, where they talk about needing these small indie-ish games, passion projects like Hi-Fi Rush, but then, saying that studio closures are going to be a thing always, which again, Microsoft, you need to figure out your messaging. It's very frustrating trying to not support you because you're a company, like, you don't technically owe me anything, I guess. Just a fan. But you gotta figure out your marketing, guys. Come on. This is not hard to do. The other companies can do it. Why can't you? Oh, it's frustrating being an Xbox fan. And I think it's double frustrating because I'm also a DC fan, and I feel like both get shit on more than their competition, like their direct competition, for whatever reason on the internet. And to doubly down, I really like the DCEU, so there's that too. I just don't follow me. I always pick the quote unquote losers, guys, I guess, according to the internet. But screw it. DC's better than Marvel. Suck it. Let's start some wars. I'll fight some battles. I'll die on some hills. Man, quite the tangent. So yeah, Tango Gameworks unfortunately closing. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but from a consumer perspective or from a Xbox perspective, but I guess in some ways it does make sense from an Xbox perspective, because you wouldn't do this if there wasn't some sort of evidence to support closing them. I don't work for Xbox, so yeah. It's putting a dark cloud over Xbox right now. I don't know if they'll be able to recover in time for the June showcase. Hellblade comes out in a week, maybe 2 weeks. There hasn't been a ton of marketing that I've seen, but also I've kind of shut myself off to marketing too. Like, I have YouTube Premium for one, which cuts out all the ads. But I see it a lot on my Xbox, so I don't know. Where do you guys even see marketing at this point? Let me know down in the comments, because I don't know where I see it other than like splash pages on the consoles, and maybe some. I don't really go on a lot of websites with ads anymore. I guess maybe like Reddit and Twitter and Instagram, like sponsored posts maybe. But yeah, God, I can't stay focused. So with this news and the heads of Xbox saying, unfortunately, going to another article, more Xbox cuts could be on the horizon, according to some reports. I mean, I guess they're rumors, but I know I've seen this going around a lot, and I can't tell if it started because I'd seen some people posting the article from, I think it's Bloomberg, by Jason Schreier, but the whole about him saying that more or Xbox studios were closing, right? But I think that was in relation to him breaking the news the previous day or so online, and even saying that an article was actually coming. And I can't tell if it's people like misconstruing that as like, hey, this is the article that I was talking about type of deal from Jason Schreier, or if there's actually more reportedly shutdowns coming. Let me take a second look at this article. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reports that ZeniMax Studios closures are part of an ongoing cost-cutting. Okay, so they're just saying in the articles that it's part of an ongoing cost-cutting initiative. That still isn't finished. So yeah, there could be more coming, or there's going to be some changes. I honestly think cost-cutting initiative. And I was going to save this for like maybe a different area of this discussion, but I think Xbox really needs to reevaluate Game Pass. I think it was a great experiment. I think it was an amazing value, still is. It's crazy, but it's putting them in a difficult position. So really what I think needs to happen, I know they did it in like a good faith effort kind of deal. They knew people would hop on. I really think, and it's been years, so we've had a good enough cadence of this. They need to walk back the day one for all Xbox first party games like they stated. I think that's not, I mean, people have been saying for years, and I bought into it for sure. It is not, I don't think it's sustainable anymore. It might have been for a time. They need to walk that point back. And other than that, I think Game Pass is probably good, but I'm willing to pay for video games, and they've unfortunately trained, and this has been their messaging and marketing, back to that. They've trained their audience to not buy the games, to just go on Game Pass and to just, play games there. And it's awesome, and I love it, and I'm torn. But if gamers want this platform to continue, They need to make some difficult changes. So some games, like smaller games, like let's say Hi-Fi Rush, I could see them putting that on Game Pass day one. Things like Gears of War or Halo or honestly maybe Indiana Jones, the new Dooms, all that stuff. I think they need to really make these case-by-case additions to Game Pass. Like Game Pass is incredible, and it spawned the revamp of PS Plus, which is apparently pretty good. I haven't done it because PlayStation has a whole lot of back-end issues I don't really like with like their licensing issues and things like that. And I don't want the headache of that. Plus, there's another subscription. I don't want another subscription if I can help it. Plus, a lot of those games on PS Plus are already on Xbox, and back to the first party thing, Xbox or Sony's not putting their first party games on the PS Plus, so I don't really have a reason to really subscribe to it. Game Pass, I would stay subscribed to, even if they took the first party stuff off. Just give me a lot of great indies, great AA, and some AAA games that you work out deals with, and the occasional first party game. And a good method might be like, hey, Indiana Jones comes out, you got to pay for it this year. And then the cadence could be every year or so, maybe 2 years after. Then it goes on Game Pass. You get a little, probably maybe a year. A year would probably be better. Get your second win. And I think that would be a much better strategy. I think they really need to rework Game Pass though. And their marketing and their messaging. I see a lot of people also online calling for essentially the heads of the executives like Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, and Phil Spencer. And I understand that. Like, they're the ones in charge. They're the ones making these decisions kind of at the end of the day that we know of, unless and they absolutely are. They're getting pressure from Microsoft as a company to make good on their 69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard King on top of the Bethesda acquisition. So I get they're getting pressure from there. The thing with replacing them is they're still likable figureheads. Like Phil Spencer, for all the problems we see and all the claims that are made that he lies, and I mean, to an extent, he has to really, they really have to stretch the truth as the heads of the company that are also kind of the figureheads. I still like them. They're still likable. And, you know, for everyone saying that they need to go, do we not remember who the last head of Xbox was? Who damn near drove Xbox into the ground and almost had them, you know, back out of the console market? Mr. Don Matrick, with his genius idea to keep the Kinect as part of the Xbox One, to make the Xbox One an all-in-one game system, like an entertainment unit, which at the time I wasn't really opposed to because that's kind of how I use my Xbox anyway. I digress. But he drove Xbox into the ground. And you know how we see the other executives, they're all garbage, far worse than the heads of Xbox currently. Do we potentially want a Bobby Kotick slithering his way back into the game industry? No. Andrew Ryan, his shenanigans over at what I don't even know where he's at. I just know he's kind of a scumbag too. Google Andrew Ryan. No, it's giving me did I type it in wrong? I typed it in wrong. It gave me Andrew Ryan from BioShock. Not the same executive, but I know Strauss Zelnick, who's the head of Take-Two Interactive. He's kind of an ass. Oh, it's Andrew Wilson. My apologies. He's an asshole too. So yeah, all of these. It's funny. People also search for Don Matrick when looking up Andrew Wilson. He's 60. Oh, we share a birthday. Fuck. Canadian. Well, there was the problem. But yeah, his plan for Xbox nearly drove Xbox out of the market. So I really think that Phil and Sarah and Matt Booty, I think they're a good leadership team from a visual optics perspective. They need just a fourth member in there to be like, hey guys, this is how we're saying it. This is how we got to do it. I'm sure they have people in those positions, but they're not doing their job well. So you really need to get, I keep hammering this home this episode. You need a better messaging and marketing team. And my Gears of War game is paused. So let me unpause it real quick. Like, if they would have came forward and said, hey, we unfortunately have to shut these studios down, but give us actual reasons. Like, we need the player base, the industry, we need reasons for why you're doing these things. Other than, cost-cutting measures. Like, if you were to explain, hey, Redfall, and again, just preface this. Say, hey, we're shutting down Arcane Austin. They made some great games with Prey, but unfortunately, Redfall was such, and again, not in these words, but Redfall was such an unmitigated disaster where we gotta close. Their future is unsustainable, this, that, the other thing. But also, let them future-proof that game with that DLC that was going to make Redfall offline for the people that want to play it. And then, mention Roundhouse and Alpha Dog, where these were either support studios or mobile studios, and we're moving away from mobile, and just transition these people into other studios in-house. I think that's also an important part. Like, sure, the studios might be gone, but transition as many as you can, and for all we know they are, transition as many as you can into other studios to keep the talent in-house, and that way you don't have to train new talent when, other talent leaves. My current employer is having this issue where people are leaving or retiring or being forced to retire, and we have no new talent staying in, and there's no transition of knowledge. It's insane. Just as an aside, former Blizzard executive defends Phil Spencer, saying that I know this hurts him as much as anyone else. And that former executive is Mike Ibarra. He defends Phil. They're good friends. They've worked together. They were on the executive team for a while. Mike Ibarra left, and I think it was the head of... Where did he go off to? I think it literally just said, well, it's former Blizzard exec. Mike Ibarra, where did you go off to? He didn't just retire. Back to Google we go. Oh, he's the president of Blizzard, so he's technically still part of Xbox? I guess he left Xbox, went to Blizzard, and then they got reacquired, so. A real, Rod Ferguson type of move. If you don't know who Rod Ferguson is, he was one of the heads on Gears of War, then came to Xbox, and then he was at Gears of War for a while, and then he left, and I think he went to Blizzard too, and then now he's back at Xbox, I suppose. Is he still in the... I'm gonna look this up too. Where's he working? Yeah, he's on the Diablo team, I guess. Okay. So yeah, Mike Ibarra, wait, it says former executive. So he's not there anymore? Former Blizzard president. Google, get your shit together. Now I gotta find out now I gotta figure out where he works. Oh, he left 3 months ago. I don't know. Okay. Xbox boss urges fans to stop taking shots at Phil. Yeah, that's another article. Yeah, I mean, Phil is ultimately, I guess, the one making these decisions, along with the rest of the executive team. But they're absolutely getting pressure from Satya Nadella, the head of Microsoft, their parent company, and other, heads at Microsoft. So these aren't easy decisions. I understand these are probably not the decisions he wants to make, but he's being forced to by the industry and by Microsoft's own decisions and things like that. So, sure, I understand to stop taking really shots at him. I mean, that's a problem gamers and people on the internet... Yeah, that's a problem that people and gamers on the internet have anyway, where we just see the name, we see the person that's presented, but there's still a real person behind that. Like, there's no way that having to close all these places and seeing all the news come out, there's no way that he feels happy about this decision to have to close these studios, Phil Spencer. So, I still like Phil, from what I've seen of him. It's frustrating being an Xbox fan for sure, but hopefully, there will be brighter days to come. Yeah, I'm getting lit up in Gears 3 still. I'm just letting my carcass be used as a bullet sponge for these insane computers. And the last piece of news, something that I've actually really been wanting for a while. Sony has it, and it works really well for the most part. Xbox mobile gaming store set for July launch. Right now, the Xbox just has like a very surface level app where you can check achievements, you can check your friends. You can't really access the store, and I'm glad they're finally going to implement something like that, because it's very frustrating wanting to just use an app to go and buy games, which is what I do for PlayStation at work sometimes, or when I'm just on the road. But I can't do that. I have to go onto the internet browser. I have to go to Xbox.com. I have to then kind of maneuver around the site. And it's frustrating, and I don't like it. And I'm glad that they're going to have the mobile gaming app. God, I'm losing it today. And I'm glad that the Xbox mobile gaming store is going to be set for launch in July. That'll be cool. I'll be able to buy games on the road now. They were leaked via the filings of Activision Blizzard acquisition in 2022. I didn't realize we only found out about it then. I feel like it was just kind of like just when are they going to finally do it type of deal. So that'll be cool. When it launches, only Xbox first-party games will be available, but they call themselves Team Green, plans to get partners shortly after launch, so it might not be much. So wait, what actually is this? Creating a mobile store to be a gaming platform and store experience that is centered around players that goes truly across devices. Why can't you just get your third-party, like, Sony can do it, but you guys can't? Like, come on, you guys are the king of back-end stuff. Like, it took Sony a decade and a half to figure out name changes, and they still can't figure out backwards compatibility on the level of Xbox, but you guys can't figure out how to just put your store on an app on mobile? Alright, whatever, I'm less interested now, but I'm still kind of interested, but less interested. Because am I gonna be able to download the games, or is it just play through cloud? Like, I don't want to download, like, my phone won't be able to hold any of these games, for sure. There's too many pictures of Sammy on there. But, man, just figure out how to make a storefront in your app. Come on, Xbox. I was excited and now I'm less. Really peeving me this week. Hopefully the coming weeks will be better. You always gotta have hope. That's why my boy Superman is my favorite, because he stands for hope. That's what the S stands for. It's a symbol. It means hope. God, I love Man of Steel. Okay, so we are done with the news. I'm glad we got through that in my rambling. Now let's move on to, before we actually go to the updates as far as, or not updates, but like the recommended games. I have updates for my goals for the month. So I believe I mentioned this last week, but if I hadn't, my goals are as follows. So goal number 1 for the month, complete both Aragami and Detroit Become Human. Working on it. Goal number 2 was complete Somerville and As Dusk Falls. I haven't touched those yet. I'm working on the PlayStation side first. Goal number 3, which I've completed, as I mentioned earlier, was to unlock the Collect All Orbs achievement in Crackdown 2. Then I want to read 2 books. I actually finished reading Night Terrors from DC, which is basically like a character puts the world to sleep and brings nightmares to real life, and some people gotta stop him type of deal. It was a good read. It was fun. Watch 5 Blu-rays. I finished, like I said, A-Team, and then I did. Let me see what the other one was. What was the other Blu-ray I watched? Oh, I did Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2. It's good. It's good. I'm really hoping it wraps up really well. My problem with the Crisis movies, the first 2, is it's very confusing in the beginning, and then it really makes sense towards the end. But watching through it can be a little frustrating. Like, with these Crisis movies, you kind of just got to go with the flow, you know what I mean? Also, criminally underuses Will Friedle as Batman Beyond in the movie. Criminal. I hope he's in the next one a little more. I know that the next one, Crisis Infinite Earths Part 3, is the finale of the Tomorrowverse, and we'll actually have Kevin Conroy's last performance as Batman. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it comes out in July. And then watch 30 episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Working on it. I think I'm like 10 in, so I got 20 to go. It's a good watch. I enjoy them. It's a little serialized. The frustrating part is that depending on where you watch them, be it on Blu-ray or I'm watching it on HBO Max. I think you watch it on Vudu as well, maybe. It seems like every place has the episodes in a different order, so it's a little frustrating. But whatever. And then I got to get an Onyx Medal in Gears 3. I might... Hold on a sec. I was confused because Gears 3 had me as playing as Marcus for a while, but now I'm playing as Anya. So that's weird. I need the female matches, so I was trying to do that from the start. Anyway, yeah, my buddy Gary, you know Gary, the guy that buys his trophies and achievements, that little rascal. He might hop over onto the Xbox shores and just help me for like 10, 15 minutes, just bang out, honestly, 2 Onyx medals, hopefully. So there's that. But now that we've discussed the update to my goals for the year, or not the year, the month, and who knows if I'll even be able to finish those. Let's go over to my recommended games. And the recommended game this week, I already talked it up a bunch. Detroit Become Human, very fun, still looks pretty good. It's a narrative game. There's some quick time events, some cool action. Very interesting narrative. I like the way it weaves around. I like the flowchart they give you. Very fun. Very good story. I actually did just a straight playthrough because I know it's not technically a long game either. It's long enough, and having to go through the other paths in order to make certain choices, that's going to take some more time. Longer than I expected. I may not be able to do all the games this month I wanted to, but it's not an incredibly long game. I think at most it's like 25 hours, 20 hours maybe. So, highly recommend. I mean, Mr. Krabs is in it. Like, come on, he's your cop detective buddy. Let me actually look up who the other guy is. Is this the guy? Yeah, this is the guy. Why am I looking him up on YouTube? What the hell's wrong with me? Where have I seen... Jesse Williams plays one of the androids. I'm trying to figure out what he's been in. I didn't watch Grayson. Oh, I know him from Cabin in the Woods. Okay. Cabin in the Woods was awesome. Okay, yeah, he's the... I guess he's the not nerdy, but he's the good guy archetype. The nerdy guy, the guy who gets the girl at the end, maybe. Archetype character. Okay, was there anything else I know him in? That might be it. That's a good... That's a pull for me. Yeah. So definitely give Detroit Become Human a shot. You may have already got it on PS Plus. Highly recommend that game. And the upcoming game is a little ditty called Funko Fusion. And it looks like a cover... Was it cover-based? Let me pull up the trailer. And I will mute... the audio's already muted. It looks like a cover-based shooter where you travel into the different worlds. Is it cover-based? Or is it might just be a third-person shooter. Yeah, third-person cartoony shooter where you play as different Funko Pops from different IP. Looks like there's like an overall villain that's corrupting the Pops. So, yeah, it looks like a pretty fun little mashup. Definitely, I hate to say it, but better than the last Funko game. Honestly, kind of looks a little Lego-esque. It's a third-person action game. Okay. Looks cool. Funko designs are awesome. Let me see. I think it says at the end of the trailer. Yeah, it says some of the IP that are in here. So you got like Back to the Future, Jurassic World, Umbrella Academy, Scott Pilgrim, The Thing. I'm trying to read them all off that they have in this trailer. Masters of the Universe, Hot Fuzz, Battlestar Galactica, Invincible? Oh, that's cool. Invincible. Shoot, I went too far. Hot Fuzz, yep. Battlestar Galactica, Invincible, Shaun of the Dead, nope. Back to the Future, Five Nights at Freddy's. So many. Xena the Mummy. Oh my god, there's a lot of IP in this game. Megan, Funko Fusion, third person action game with a bunch of IP you'll probably know and love. Looks like a blast. Comes out September 13th for... That trailer just shows PlayStations. I think it's just consoles right now. And let's see. Yeah, I think it says it comes out for all consoles. I'd be surprised if it didn't come to Xbox as well. And maybe Switch also? Do they specify a difference there? 10 games. Oh, here we go. Nintendo Switch, PC. The PlayStations and the Xboxes. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. Keep an eye out for it. It looks pretty fun. And with that, this jumbo-sized episode of Platinum Achievements comes to a close. A lot of rants in there. I appreciate everyone who stuck around and listened. Man, 56 minutes. I'm going to have to chop this bad boy down a good amount. As always, I want to thank everyone who took the time to listen and, potentially watch the video or listen to the quote-unquote podcast. If you could, go down, subscribe. I like seeing the subscriber numbers go up. I've gotten a few new subscribers. It seems to all be from the video of Gianna from forever ago where she got a car for Christmas, I think. That keeps bringing in subscribers. It's crazy. People love that video. And if you could, give this video a like, share with a game-loving friend. If you're feeling spicy, hit the little ring-a-ding-ding bell to let yourself know when I post a new video. Give Detroit Become Human a shot. Keep an eye out for Funko Fusion. Let me know down in the comments what you're playing. If whatever goals you might have for this month or the year gaming-wise or movie-wise or whatever-wise. Let me know what you think. Excuse me. About the Xbox problems and how they should fix it. And don't just say fire Phil. Actual reasons. Guys, come on, let's have a discussion. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Keep on hunting, boys and girls. And I'm going to go make some lunch while Sammy sleeps for a little longer. Okay, bye. Thanks again for listening. Gary, go buy a trophy or two. Bye.